We're counting down the best of the best architectural statements in Australia for the year.
Around the table we've got a group of judges who are all from different backgrounds in the industry, and that brings a lot of different views and perspectives to the judging table.
We've got some very well qualified architects, we have material suppliers, we've got furniture and fitting suppliers, builders, a group of people that's very well placed to judge the best of the best today.
The use of concrete, timber, different finishes, different feels, creates a beautiful home.
Apparently it was built on a limestone quarry, and that use of materials throughout the building really creates a lovely homage to its space and its presence.
How many of us wish we could live in a beach house year-round?
Our clients are originally from a farming family, and they always used to holiday in Cottesloe, and they wanted us to pick up on that Cottesloe vibe, and they love the beach. So we've tried to create a house that is really welcoming, which is a very farm, very country kind of sentiment. Then we've also picked up on all the palette from the beach, the greys and the washed driftwoods, and the limestone, which is not only of the beach, but it's of the locality, because this used to be a quarry for Cottesloe.
Pretty unusual to put the pool at the front garden.
I mean, we are fortunate that this street is a very quiet street. We put it out the front because of the northern light, and they wanted to entertain. There's a very strong sea breeze coming from the southwest, and if the pool were out there, it probably wouldn't be that pleasant.
And I understand, Pip, that this deck, this whole deck, is hiding a pretty big secret.
This entire deck, to a depth of about 4 metres, is a concrete tank, and it's filled with water. The client has told me that they've not yet actually used any skiing water.
Look at this view. This is fantastic, Pip.
And it's wonderful having these to-the-ceiling windows, so you can reference that with the wonderful sill. Again, a fairly simple bleach palette, but quite luxurious.
Quite luxurious. This is very luxurious. I mean, if downstairs is the holiday beach shack, this is the hotel suite. This house is intelligently designed. It's beautifully finished, and it captures the essence of exactly what a beach house is all about.
I really like this project. It's a very deserving number 3. It allows good natural light to flow through, good airflow to come into the building, but also allows good perspective of the surrounding landscape.
It's an environmentally sensitive design and makes the most of really a spectacular setting. And it's a really thoughtful approach to providing accommodation in a really sensitive area like a national park.
A new house site is a blank slate, and it's always intriguing to discover where an architect gets that first design idea for a project. What did your clients say when you said, "I'm going to design you a tent"?
Well, Jill, I sat them down on site. We looked back at this incredible view, and I asked them if they enjoyed camping. And Nick said, "We love camping," looking at me quite intrigued. And I said, "That's great, because I've designed you a tent." I was very aware of the fact that any house that we put here needed to be able to pick up pieces of sky. The roof was always going to have to lift up and pick up these sort of pocket frame views of sky that you can see. And I've referred to it before as an esky and a tent. So we've got the esky for the winter months, and then that esky transforms and opens up to the point where it becomes a simple platform underneath the tent. It transforms quite dramatically the spatial sensation when those roofs are open. The tent actually generates its own airflow, so on a still day, the hot air will rise, obviously, and start sliding along the underside of the tent and pull cooler air from the rainforest up into the space. So it can be totally calm, no wind, and you can feel
A gentle kind
breeze.
of movement. This house is a deceptively simple overlay of two very different forms. It's the interaction between the two that adds so much complexity.
We're down to number 2 in our top 10 best of the best countdown.
The client had a really specific brief around the use of concrete, and the architect has absolutely run with that, but paired it back with some excellent material choices.
It utilises brass, timber, steel, but some beautifully detailed off-form concrete that makes the project really pop.
In 1962, the Commonwealth Games came to Perth, sparking a housing boom here in Floreat. The challenge for the next architect is how to respect that strong architectural 60s flavour while updating for a 21st century family. So Neil, this house is full of concrete. The client came and said, I want a concrete house.
They did. That was their brief to me, in fact. They wanted a grey concrete house, which as an architect was a dream come true.
Wow, Neil, I love this space.
As you can see, the concrete from the outside of the building's been brought through. Really made an attempt to use a very natural palette. And by natural, I mean a matte palette. At the moment, the brass is quite shiny. As you can see here, it's dulled off already. As the family use this, there'll be a little bit of polished brass here. So we're encouraging natural weathering and natural ageing. Essentially, it's a single-storey building, which took up a lot of the site area. So we've doubled the outdoor space by using all of this roof space. There's 50 solar panels, which gives 16.5 kilowatt power to the house, which is ample, more than they need. And you can't see any of these panels, which was important to me. It's not about showing off your sustainability, it's about the house being a home. As we have a Mediterranean climate here, if late afternoon on a hot day, all the windows of the house are open up, a beautiful breeze will go through for excellent cross ventilation.
This house ticks all the boxes. It sits comfortably in its surrounds, it's beautiful, it's sustainable. But most importantly, the family absolutely love it.
And now the #1 architectural statement for the year in Australia.
Well, this project really is forward-thinking. The architect and the client have worked together to create a set of facilities that will both work as an equestrian facility now, but will also adapt to almost any application into the future.
I mentioned it earlier in this series that it was a Jurassic Park-like project on a grand scale. Overall, it captures everything that you want in good architecture. Great design choices, excellent use of its setting, and fantastic material choices, and all that's come together in a world-class precinct.
Okay, are you sitting down? Chris, I got the wrong memo. I thought these were stables.
What, don't they look like stables?
No, so much more.
Oh, maybe we've done our job then. The roofs themselves have been sort of kicked up and fold on themselves to grab those northeasterly cool breezes that come down and keep the horses comfortable. We've kept to natural materials where possible. We've got stone, timbers from some of the trees on site, some of the black butts, so that this thing ages in place. The roofs, you'll also notice, are copper. In a few years' time, it'll probably start to tarnish a bit green and it'll be ever-changing.
Let me guess, these must be the club rooms.
Not quite. These are the tack rooms. This is where we keep all the smelly old rugs and saddles.
But it's got a really premium feel.
It might be something different in the future. We've purposely made this so it could be a restaurant down the track. It might not always be about horses. This is where you come and we host the international judges for the competitions, any special spectators or corporates. This is where they hang out and have a good view of the Grand Prix arena.
What's needed in equestrian pursuits in Australia at the moment is to engage the community and get behind horses. But I hope people come here for things other than the equine pursuits, and maybe we'll have overnight cinemas in the gardens, small music festivals, art festivals, sculpture exhibitions. I mean, the space can be used for so many things. But I want this to go on for a long time, and quality will persist, and people will come here well after I'm gone and be amazed at how this happened.
What really blows my mind is the closer you get, the more you discover how big one man's vision really is. This takes the next level to the next level.